What's going on, folks? So, October 22nd, Islam Makhachev has finally getting his chance that he's been calling out for. Islam Makhachev has been knocking on the door of the UFC. He's a 22 and 1 fighter, 12 fights in the UFC. He's won them all. The only fight that he lost, it was so long ago, I don't even know when it happened. But here we are. Some people say Islam Makhachev, he's going up the rankings and he's undeserving. But for me, talent speaks over resume. Uh, Islam Makhachev is a fighter that has showcased how skillful he is to put himself somewhere in the top five. Keep that in mind. So when you place yourself somewhere in the top five and you look at the other side of the bracket, you're talking about Charles Oliveira. Who is Charles Oliveira? Charles Oliveira, I thought, was a guy who was a quitter in championship fights. That's what I was told by the people he was fighting. Personally, I saw a documentary from UFC on Charles Oliveira in 2016. I thought he was a cool guy. I knew he was a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter. That was his main style, his bread and butter. They said that he needed to work on his hands. Apparently he's done that because the same people who tried to educate me on the fact that Charles Oliveira was not championship material, he's gone on to defeat those folks respectfully, but he's done so in astounding fashion. So for Charles Oliveira, he's taken now names like Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, the big headline fighters. He's defeated all these people in recent times since 2020. Okay, that's pretty much your whole top five UFC lightweight division. So Islam Makhachev, let's talk about him again on the other side of the bracket. He's saying, hey, listen, I know I'm new in this organization, but I beat who you put in front of me. I didn't get my Benil Darush fight. That would have put me on the map. I didn't get it. So I'm skipping the line. I'm next. For Charles Oliveira, for a guy who pretty much put the UFC on his back in 2020 when sports were not happening at all, he goes out to Brazil. He fights Kevin Lee in an empty arena. Not an empty Apex arena. An empty arena for tens and thousands of fans. He goes out there and puts a showcase on against the sturdy, tough Kevin Lee. And then he goes on to do great things and win a championship belt. And after he's stacked up these championship wins, he's in a position where he's looking around saying, who can I fight and who's going to give me the best payday? So he starts calling out names like Conor McGregor. Well, that fight's not available. Conor McGregor's on the sideline. He's injured. We're not going to rush him back just so he can have a fight. And even though they said you're a quitter, you have a tendency to be putting people to sleep and making them tap out. Why would we put, Conor McGregor in the octagon with you on his very first fight? It doesn't really make logical sense. Now, personally, for me, I was really hoping that we get to see Charles Oliveira versus Alexander Volkonovsky. That fight makes sense. Two of the most disrespected champions in the UFC. Charles Oliveira versus Alexander Volkonovsky. That fight made a lot of sense to me from the featherweight division going up to the lightweight division, only to find out that Alexander Volkonovsky broke his hand after defeating the great Max Holloway. So we can't get that. So for Charles Oliveira, when you look at the board, there is no name left. There is nothing left to do. I know you want to hold out for a great fight in January, which is going to be in Brazil, I believe. It's January or February. I think it's going to be January. Correct me if I'm wrong. We can't hold out till January. We got to get something going. So Charles Oliveira, here we are. We're going to be fighting Islam Makhachev in Abu Dhabi, October 22nd. And this fight, I just can't help but wonder what is going to be the narrative around Charles Oliveira after he gets this victory against Islam Makhachev. There's only one name left that I can think of. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say the name because if I say it, it'd be premature. We'll let this fight happen and we'll see where the chips fall. Are we going to have a new champion by the name of Islam Makhachev? And if that's the case, we have a whole new gambit of opponents. But if Charles Oliveira goes to Abu Dhabi and closes the door on Islam Makhachev and defeats him by submission or by knockout or by decision or by split decision, however he gets it done, there's only one person left for that man to fight.